Good morning, Year 4. So this is the Tuesday, the 12th of January session for Group 1 SPaG. Can you use fronted adverbials? This is being uploaded for anyone who missed it when it was live, or for anyone who wants to go back in and check what the activity on Seesaw is all about. So, can you identify any fronted adverbials in this paragraph? This might be a trick question. Benin was one of the most important kingdoms in the 15th and 16th centuries. It became wealthy through trade with Europe and conquering neighbouring land. So, any fronted adverbials? Any adverbial phrases at the front of a sentence? Look closely. Yep, trick question. So, this text doesn't have many fronted adverbials naturally in it. Non-chronological reports, explanation texts, any kind of non-fiction, you don't tend to use fronted adverbials as often or in the same way as you would do with a narrative. But if I have tweaked a few things, made some changes, are there any fronted adverbials now? In the 15th and 16th centuries, Benin was one of the most important kingdoms in the world. Through trade with Europe and conquering neighbouring land, it became wealthy. So hopefully you can now spot that I've moved the adverbial phrases that were there all along in the last paragraph. I've moved them to the front of the sentence. So now we begin with a time fronted adverbial in the 15th and 16th centuries. So that adverbial phrase is modifying the verb was. Benin was important in the 15th and 16th centuries. And then the second sentence, through trade with Europe and conquering neighbouring land, it became wealthy. That's a manner adverbial now at the front of the sentence, telling us how it became wealthy. It became wealthy through trade with Europe. So we now have those adverbial phrases at the beginning of a sentence. Now, this is a challenge you're going to have to do when you do your long piece of writing about this text yourself, because you've got to try to get those writing ladder skills ticked off. So you've got to try to make fronted adverbials, even though they are going to be challenging. But we've managed it with this paragraph, so I know you can. Now, here we have the task that you will find on Seesaw, and it's the task I want you to have a go at. So we've got a list of fronted adverbials down the left-hand column, and a list of main clauses down the right-hand column. And you need to mix and match to find the best sentence. So you could choose the top one in the 15th and 16th centuries, and then you could have a look down for a main clause that you think would work perfectly to make that sentence. They should all have a really good matching pair, but you might have different sentences to the ones I planned for you. So you might find you end up using the same main clause twice in order to make the fronted adverbial make sense. It's up to you. Remember, this is a task to get you generating some sentences with fronted adverbials that you can use in your writing. So as long as they make sense to you and you think they are historically accurate and correct, then I am more than happy with them. Now, here's an opportunity to play around and use a sentence in a different way. I've chosen the adverbial sadly, and I've put it at the front. Sadly, we don't have much evidence about them. Could you choose a different fronted adverbial to improve that sentence? You could go for a synonym such as unfortunately. We don't have much evidence about them. Or you could tweak it a bit. Interestingly, we don't have much evidence about them. Think of different ways to start that sentence using your fronted adverbials. Now, can you write your own fronted adverbial for this main clause? Something, 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 bronze plaques hung on the wall. Now, I think a place adverbial would be really good for that one. Where were these bronze plaques hanging? If you read our text, you will find that there was one particular person in one particular building who used these bronze plaques to decorate his walls. If I were you, I would go for something like, in the king's palace, comma, bronze plaques hung on the wall. Or in the magnificent king's palace. in the great Ober's palace, if you want to use the correct vocabulary. So, on Seesaw, your independent task is live, and it's a matching task just like the one we've just looked at in this session. So I can't wait to see what sentences you match up. Check each one makes sense, and don't forget to put that comma after the fronted adverbial. No comma criminals, please. Bye for now.